everyone, Amber here from the Stellar Guitarist. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be learning an awesome request, Love Will Keep Us Alive by the Eagles. The song is such a classic, perfect for beginners and intermediate players. We have some easy chords in the verse as well as a picking part which is really going to spice the song up. So go grab your guitar and let's jump into the lesson today. So to start off, let's make sure that our guitars are in standard tuning and we are not going to need a capo for today's lesson. So let's go ahead and look at the chords that we're going to need in today's song. So the first chord we need is called an A sus2 chord. Now traditionally the way we'd play an A sus2 is if we go and find our A major chord, what we would do is we would lift up our ring finger off of the strings. And this would be an A sus2. But for this song, what I want us to do is to rearrange our fingers. And what I mean by this is we're going to be playing with our second and third fingers squeezing down the strings instead. And this just means our first finger is free, and I'm going to explain why this is important in a minute. The next chord we need is a D major chord. We're also going to need a D sus2. And to play this, we're just going to take our second finger off of the D chord. And the final chord we need, that is an open chord, is an E major. We're also going to need some bar chords in the song, but do not worry, I'm going to show you some really easy alternatives. So the first chord we need is a B minor chord. So this is usually played as a bar chord. But if this is too difficult for you, then you can use my easy B minor, which uses just 3 fingers. And just make sure that you are strumming those 3 strings that you're squeezing down. And this will work really well in the song. So we only play B minor once in the song during the chorus. So if B minor is a little bit of a tricky chord for you, then use my easy B minor instead. And the final chord we're going to need for the song is called an F sharp minor, which is also usually played as a bar chord in the 2nd fret using an E minor chord shape. Now this is quite a tricky chord to play, especially if you're just starting out. So I'm going to show you a different way to play the chord, and it's going to be much easier for you. So what we're going to do is go back and find that A sus2 chord using our second and third fingers. Now we're going to take that first finger, which we have freed up, and we're going to put this into the 2nd fret on the low E string. And we want to make sure that that first finger is also muting the A string. So we don't really want the A string to be ringing out. And this is going to give us the essence of an F sharp minor chord. And this is the shape I'm going to be using in all of the verses of the song today. So the strumming pattern that we're going to be using in the song today is our good old favorite beginner strumming pattern that sounds like this. Down, down, up, down, up. And we count this 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and. And for 90% of the song, every single chord that you see in the music is going to get 2 rounds of that strumming pattern. So the chords are going to be up on the screen from the verse, and the chords we have on A sus2. We're then going to be going to an F sharp minor, and this is going to be our easy F sharp. So all we do is add our first finger into the 2nd fret on the E string. And there we have our F sharp minor chord. We're then going to change to our D sus2 chord. And we're going to change to our E chord. So that is the first half of the verse. And it's going to sound something like this. Using our strumming pattern, remember to play the strumming pattern twice on each of those chords. Here we go. A sus2 and down, down, up, down, up, repeats. Change to the F sharp minor. D sus2, down, down, up, down, up. Repeat. and to the E chord. Down, down, up, up, down, up, down, up. The next part of the verse, we're going to go back to the A sus2 chord, then back to F sharp minor again. And then you're going to notice that we have a D sus2 in a bracket with an E chord. Now all this means is that the D sus2 is going to get one round of the strumming pattern and the E chord will get the other round of the strumming pattern. So it will sound like this from the D sus2 chord. Down, down, up, down, up, E. So if we take it from the start of the second half of the verse, which is from the A sus2, it's going to sound like this. Down, down, up, down, up, repeat. F sharp minor. D sus2 for one round. Switch to the E chord. Back to the A sus2. So let's do a quick run through of the verse together with a little bit of singing. A 1, 2. I was A sus2. Repeat it again to the F sharp minor. You were D sus2 for a place to the E. Lost an A sus2 again. Now you've given me the F sharp minor chords. When we're D sus2, change to the E chord and to A sus2. Now, if you enjoy learning timeless songs just like this one, then don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to my channel. Your support really helps me in being able to continue making free lessons just like this one and to continue growing the Stellar Guitarist community. So the final section we're going to be looking at today is the chorus, and the chords are going to be up on the screen for you. This is where our F sharp minor bar chord and B minor chord are going to come out to play. Now, the first chord we need is a D major. We then have the F sharp minor. Now, of course, you can go back to playing it the way that we have been playing it in the verses, but I'm going to play the bar chord in the play along. So we're going to have the F sharp minor, followed by our B minor chord. Of course, you can choose whichever way you'd like to play it. And then we're going to end on that E major chord. So the chorus is really short and sweet. We only have 4 chords, and each of those chords is going to get 2 rounds of the strumming pattern. So it's going to sound something like this, starting on the D. Down, down, up, down, up, repeat. F sharp minor, down, down, up, down, up, repeat. B minor. And then to the E, down, down, up, down, 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 up. And I like to end that second strumming pattern with an up strum. So you do 1 round of the strumming pattern on E, and then you just do half of the pattern following that. So just the E chord will sound like this in the chorus. Down, down, up, down, 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 up. And that leads us right back into the verse again. Now, if you are looking to take your guitar playing skills to the next level, I have 2 amazing guitar programs. The first is my beginner guitar course, and this is perfect for you if you are just starting out and you are wanting to lay a strong foundation to build your skills. I also have an intermediate program called Let's Level Up, and in this course, we dive into bar chords, power chords, intricate strumming patterns, as well as fingerpicking. Inside both programs, you will find structured step-by-step lessons which are designed to progress your playing quickly and enjoyably so that you can become a stellar guitarist. So if you are ready to see real results and to finally achieve your guitar goals, then click the link below this video, and I cannot wait to welcome you into one of my programs. So I've zoomed in and we're going to learn the beautiful picking part that we hear played throughout the song. Now, I will be playing and teaching this section fingerstyle. You can use a pick if you would like to. It's really your choice and what is most comfortable for you. But just to make sure that we are on the same page, if you are going to use your fingers like me, the thumb is going to be doing some jumping between the E, A, and D strings. And our index finger is going to stay on the G string. Our middle finger is going to stay on the B string. And our ring finger is going to stay on the E string. So this is the position that we are going to be using throughout the picking part. So just acquaint yourselves with those strings and let's get going. So we're going to learn this picking section chord by chord. So let's check out the first 2 bars. So the tabs are going to be up on the screen to help you, and we're going to be using a really easy chord shape for the majority of this picking section. So what I'm going to ask you to do is take your second finger and place it into the second fret on your G string. And that finger is going to stay there for the majority of this picking part. So our thumb is going to start on the A string, and we're going to be doing our A to the G, to the E string, to the B string. Those are the first 4 notes. So we have A, G, E, B. We're then going to be playing the G string, the B string, and the E string. So in total, and that's going to get played again. It's really as simple as that in terms of the chord. The tricky part comes in with the picking. So my suggestion to you is just to hang out here at this first part of the lesson and practice the picking part before moving on to the next chord shapes. So the next chord shape we have is going to revolve around that F sharp minor chord. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take our first finger and place it into the second fret on the low E string. And all that's going to happen is our thumb is going to move from the A string to the E string. And the rest of the fingers are going to remain on the same strings and play the same pattern. It's really as simple as that. The third chord shape we have is the D. Now we're going to keep our second finger exactly where it is, and all that's going to happen is our thumb is going to go to the D string. And that's all that changes. And the final chord shape we have is our E chord shape. Now the first bar is quite straightforward. We're going to be taking our thumb up to the E string and playing it open. And then that final bar is going to change. We're going to take our first finger and place it into the first fret on the G string. And we're going to play E, G, B, E. And then we can take our second finger and put it back into the second fret on the G. B, E. So that last bar is going to sound like this. One more time. E, G, B, E, G, B, E. And the whole line in total. So up till that point, we have learned the first half of the verse. So the second half of the verse is going to be almost identical. So it's going to start off with the same shape we started off the whole song with, which is kind of rooted in that A sus2 chord. So we just need our second finger down on the string, and it's going to sound like this. When we move on to the next shape, this is where our F sharp is going to go into the bass, and it's going to be exactly the same. Now the next line is where things are going to be a little bit different. We have our D major chord for the first half. And then we're going to be changing to the E, where we're going to be having our first finger in the first fret on the G. So this is kind of echoing an E chord shape. And we're going to be playing the E, the G, B, E, and then taking our second finger and placing it into the second fret. So that line is going to sound like this. One more time. And then the final bar from the verse is going to be the same line that we started the whole song with. And we play it again. So let's do a slow playthrough of the entire verse together, starting from the very beginning. A 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next section we're going to look at is the picking part used in the chorus. Now, just to mention that this section is a lot more difficult than the verses. So an option here is, if you struggle, then revert back to strumming the chords for the chorus. So you can rather finger pick the verses, and when it comes to the chorus, you can just go back to strumming the normal chords. Because this is quite a lot more difficult, because we're going to have to play bar chords in this picking section. So let's have a little look. The first two bars are up on the screen. Now this is where we're going to be picking a full D chord. So we can play a D, and our thumb is going to be on the D string, and the picking pattern is identical with our index, middle, and ring fingers. So the same pattern. We're then going to be going to an F sharp minor bar chord. Now, even I struggle with this to get a good sound out of each of those strings. So we're going to be playing our bar chord, and we're really going to have to squeeze. Definitely not the most pleasant thing to play. Another option here would be to really just use all your fingers to squeeze down the second fret of the strings that need to be played. So that's just a little tip for you if the bar chord is really quite difficult. We're then going to go to a B minor bar chord, and we're going to be playing with our thumb on the A string. And then when we get to the final chord, which is the E, this is actually a really fun thing to learn. So what we're going to be doing is playing our first finger in the first fret on the G, and our thumb is going to be playing on the E, index, middle, ring. Then our thumb is going to come down to the D string. And then we're going to reach our pinky across into the 4th fret. This is a really hard stretch, but it's super worth it if you can get it right. And we're going to push that down on the A string. And then our second finger is going to play on the A string in the 2nd fret. So in total, those 2 bars are going to sound something like this. And that's really just replicating that walking bass line that we hear in the chorus of the song. So let's try put the chorus together really slowly, starting on the D major. A 1, 2, 3, 4. So next up, we are going to be doing a mini playthrough of all the sections that we learned today. So I hope you're feeling ready and excited. Let's get going. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, that's it for today's lesson. Thank you so much for spending time with me. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the lesson, to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. That way you will never miss any of the lessons I release every single week. Until next time, I'll see you in the next lesson. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.